Is it recording? Yes. Okay. So thanks everybody for getting on. And again, Ashley Ranow, right?
Yep.
I just have to say that every time. Okay, so she's an Ambassador Diamond. I'm not going to talk a bunch because I'm still nervous. I don't even know why. I'm just excited. So I'm just going to let you go with it and tell us your story, because it's super exciting to have you on here and tell us everything. Even though there's a few of us that were at conference and we heard some of it, but it's still awesome.
Awesome. Sounds good. If you guys have questions during this, you can type them in the chat too, and I'll kind of watch and see or unmute yourself and ask a question or whatever too. But I'm so excited that Lacey asked me to do this with you guys. So my name's Ashley Ranow, and like she said, I'm an Ambassador Diamond. I've been with the company for, it was 3 years in February, so just 37 months. And my story actually goes back to 2011. I was the biggest skeptic. So I am, by background, I'm a nurse. And so I was a labor and delivery nurse. And I heard about this business in 2011, and I made fun of it. I was like the biggest hypocrite ever. I deleted a couple of rap girls off of my Facebook because I thought their posts were annoying. And I was just a really big hypocrite. I didn't believe in it. I didn't believe in making money. It screamed pyramid scheme. So I was totally that person that, you know, we all hate to deal with. And it just really took it being the right time in my life for me to decide to do this business. Now, I will tell you that 2 people followed up with me for 36 months. Every single month I got a follow-up message, and every single month I ignored it. So it was literally like blue message, blue message, blue message, blue message, blue message. But if they wrote something on like my pictures of my kids, I'd be like, thanks, girl, or, you know, whatever. And so I engaged with them, but anytime they wanted to talk about the business, they would send me invites to wrap parties, they would send me invites to opportunity calls, and I wouldn't go to any of them. And so, y'all, I was a silent stalker. I was watching every move they made. I was watching them pay off rental houses. I was watching them buy their husband a boat. I was watching them pay off student loans. And I was so envious, but I got caught in this moment of like, I've been the biggest hypocrite, so I can't do this business. Even if I want to, I can't do it because I've like totally been a jerk. And so it took us, like we moved back to Missouri from Florida, and we had my daughter. So I already had a 2-year-old, and then we had my daughter, and I was on maternity leave. And I remember sitting in our living room one night. Sophia was about 2 weeks old and Cade was 2. And we were trying to figure out how I could possibly take 12 weeks of maternity leave. We were the family on the outside that looked like we had the white picket fence. My husband was in insurance for State Farm, had a good job. I was doing nursing, but we were drowning, like literally drowning in credit card debt, student loan debt, struggling that December to pay our propane bill, which our propane got down to 5%, and that's what heated our house and our water, and my mother-in-law had to pay it for us. But from the outside, you never would have known that. So we started going through literally debt by debt by debt, trying to figure out what payments were going to be due in December and January so I could take that time off with her. And I remember looking at my student loan account, just one of them, and it said if I kept making my minimum payments that they'd be paid off in 2030. So here I am, it's 2013. And so I add that math up, and that would have made Sophia a senior in high school and Kate a sophomore in college. And that hit me like a ton of bricks. So that was my first like eye opener to start like toying around with asking some questions. And so I started asking. So I think the girl that I signed with knew like, okay, she just asked a question after 3 years. I've got her. But it still took me 3 more months to sign up. So that was kind of my like, okay, I got to do this. But then I was so scared of what people were going to think. I was so terrified of judgment from other people, just looking dumb, people thinking like, what the heck are you doing? You have a healthcare background. Like, are you an idiot? And I just, I'd played out every scenario in my head. And finally, I guess I signed up February 2nd of 2014. And I remember telling my enroller, just so you know, I'm not going to post on Facebook. I'm not going to be one of those girls. And then I was posting on Facebook within 24 hours because that night I was sitting there with Sophia, breastfeeding her in the middle of the night, aimlessly like scrolling through Pinterest, wasting time. And it just like happened. I swear God was like, you're going to look at this. And it said, other people's opinions don't pay your bills. And that was all I needed. That was all I needed to see. At this point, we had just signed Kate up for T-ball. And I worked every Sunday, Monday, Tuesday night for my full-time job as a nurse. And then I also worked part-time in another hospital. So that was my set schedule. Well, every T-ball game was going to be on Monday nights. So his first year of T-ball, I missed every single game. So at 3 years old, it was like, okay, this isn't the end of the world that I'm missing T-ball. But in my mind, it was a long-term thing. So I'm like, okay, right now working as a nurse, like I make good money, and I was making PRN pay. So I was making almost $50 an hour, which is ridiculous. And we were still drowning. And I just thought, if I'm doing all that I can, I'm maxed out at what I can do work-wise with my nursing career. So at what point are things going to change? At what point am I going to be the mom in the bleachers? At what point will I be able to be the yes mom that's not on FaceTime with my husband hiding in the bathroom so I can see him swing the bat? Like, to me, that was like, okay, when he's a sophomore and he's pitching or he's on first base, I'm still not going to be there. And so, that's when I just really had to decide, like, I got to get over myself. I was the only person standing in my own way. And so, it's really crazy. My best friend moved to Missouri from Florida to be closer to our family. And, 3 years later, we don't speak to each other at all anymore. She blocked me on Facebook, told me that she would never support me doing this joke, that I would never make any money. And I feel like I should call her up and thank her for that, because that did nothing but fuel my fire to, we tell our kids all the time, you can do anything you want. When you're grown up, you can be whatever you want to be. So where as adults do we decide, like, oh, I'm not good enough for that, or oh, I'm not worthy of that, or I could never do that? Yes, you can. Every single one of you can be an ambassador diamond. I didn't sign up to be an ambassador diamond. I signed up to be a ruby. $500 was a game changer for our family. But once I realized I can make $500, then $500, I realized how much of a game changer that was for my family. So I just had to teach other people how to make $500. And that just continued to compress. But the crazy thing is, so I signed up a month ago, or 3 years ago, but if you look at the time frame of this year, today would have been my 1 month anniversary 3 years ago. And so I had just went Ruby. I went Ruby in my first month. And then I was like, holy cow, like, I don't even know what happened. I don't even know how it happened. But then I was like, okay, I started telling people, don't believe me, just watch. I'm going to earn a $10,000 bonus by the end of May. And you can either watch me or you can join me. Like, I put it out there. I blasted it out there to everybody that that's what I was going to do. And I had no idea how I was going to do it. I wasn't totally positive I was going to do it, but I felt like I had gotten enough haters that I needed to prove to them that I was capable of doing it, and you can watch. And so I ended up going diamond that month. So I went from ruby to diamond. And then the following month, like, it was just like the momentum was so crazy and exciting. And it was like I was challenging myself. I wasn't in competition with anybody else but myself. I went double the next month and triple the following month. So in my first 4 months in the business that I wanted to go ruby was my long-term goal. I made $50,000 in bonuses. So you guys, if you're sitting here, I don't know how long any of you have been in the business. If you're a brand new distributor, you could be diamond at the end of this month. You could be triple diamond by June. But if you've been in the business for a year, look at yourself like a brand new distributor. I don't care if you've been in for 4 years, 5 years, however long. If you decide that you want to start today and change the way that you're working the business, the way that you're talking to people, your mindset, if you're ready to get over yourself and say, like, I'm going to claim one of these bonuses, you can start everything over today, and you can run with it, and you can get these bonuses. These bonuses are so attainable, and they change your life. Like, that's the biggest thing. And I think what really helped me too is to, like, my husband thought I'd lost my mind. I was the person that got, I was like, oh, I'm going to be a scrapbooker. I'm going to go and buy every scrapbooking thing I can buy. I'm going to buy a shelf to contain it all. I've never made a scrapbook. And so that's what my husband thought this business would be like. Oh, she's all in for like 30 seconds till she sees a rabbit, and then she's off somewhere else. And it was just him seeing my motivation and my drive drove him. But what we did with those student loans and our credit cards and my car payment, and then we thought of one thing. Like, at that point, I didn't really feel like I could dream because we were so like drowning that it was hard to even imagine dreaming about something. But I threw Disney and cash on my dream board. And so all we did, I didn't make like this foo-foo pretty dream board. I chalkboard painted a mirror, and I wrote on it how much credit card debt we had to the penny, how much student loan debt we had to the penny, how much my van still had owed on it to the penny. And then I put that I wanted to take my kids to Disney in cash. And seeing those numbers, one was like a gut check, but it was reality to myself of how in debt we were and how ugly it was and how much like we had to do something. And so that was in my laundry room. In my laundry room, I had to walk through it to go to the garage. And so I saw that every day. So what that did is that reminded me of, I was still working full-time night shift. I was working 48 to 60 hours a week with a 45-minute commute one way. And so, I didn't even have normal hours to talk to people. When most people are getting home from work, at 7 and getting settled in and kind of able to work their businesses, talk to potentials, I was clocking into work and was like swamped. And so I'm trying to like start communication with people at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and then waiting for them to respond back to me when they woke up. So, looking at that every day, it was a reminder of why I was staying up later, why I was getting up earlier. And I remember Mike Patillo saying one time that, whatever your vice is, for me at that time, I loved to play Words with Friends. I loved to play Candy Crush. And I loved to watch The Bachelor and Chicago Fire. And we just had like our certain things that we loved to do. And me and my husband would sit in the living room and like not even talk to each other. We would be like playing games or scrolling Facebook or watching the same shows, but not like interacting. And so I remember Mike saying, whatever your vice is, and for you, if that's TV, I challenge you to literally write out what your dreams are. 90 days of running hard is worth it. And so I challenge you to write whatever your goal is, whatever your dreams are, write that down on like a sticky note and tape it to your TV. So that way, every time you decide, like, I think I'm just going to indulge tonight in This Is Us or whatever show it may be, you've got to pick your dreams up, your goal up, and you got to set it aside. You got to decide, is that more worth it? Is that 30 minutes of, and I totally get it. Like, I love to just like go to another place and not think about anything else and be in like somebody else's reality. But the bottom line is you have to come back to your own reality. So that's the point where you got to give yourself 90 days to just run hardcore and talk to people. Figure out why you're doing it. I don't know if any of you guys have unsupportive significant others. I luckily didn't deal with that, but I've had a lot of people on my team that have. And so I would say sit down and make a dream board right in front of them. Sit down. And so like I asked my husband on our dream board that we did last year, I was like, if you could have anything, if we made enough money that we pay off our debt and you could have anything, what would you want? And he wanted a new bow and arrow and a boat. Well, guess what? We got both of those last year. And so when you can start showing them that, you're not only just doing, hey, I just got a distributor. You're not just doing this because it's for your like selfish reasons, and you're not just, no, they get annoyed when they see us like this nonstop. But if they understand why you're doing it, and they understand that you're doing it for your family and you're doing it for them, you're doing it for your future, then it makes a lot more sense. And so, what I would do is while I was doing bath time or while I was, in the kitchen or whatever, the Sunday night, Monday night calls, those calls that I don't miss. For 3 years, I get on them and I put them on speakerphone, and my husband listens to them too. The first year it wasn't because he wanted to listen to them. It was just because they were on speakerphone. So he had to listen to them. And so, when they start overhearing those stories, especially on the Monday night calls, that starts to get their little wheels turning too. So I just think that it's super important to engulf yourself as much as you can with like-minded people. And so that's what those Sunday night and Monday night calls are. And getting to events, I got to an event my first week in the business, and it's crazy because I have a presidential diamond that she's been to conference 3 times. She's been to green carpet 3 times, but she's never been to a one team, one mission. And I will drive 5 or 6 hours to go to a one team, one mission because those fill my cup up. Whenever I'm feeling I'm not going to tell you as an ambassador that there aren't days that I'm I don't even want to open my phone. I'm so sick of talking to people. We have those days, but you have those days in a normal job too. So what's the difference? You're going to have to go through the mud sometimes to get to the greatness and the great places. And there's going to be rough days, and there's going to be people that are nasty to you. There's going to be people that are haters, but there's also going to be people that are going to reach out to you and say, I have people that have nothing to do with my business. They've never been a customer, but they will send me a message and just be like, "You're so fun to watch," or "You're such an inspiration," or "Thank you for always being so positive." And so you guys, it's just, we have our hands on something. And I think that that's the biggest thing to figure out, is that we have our hands on something that can change people's lives, whether it be their health or financially. You have a tool that can change lives. And so when you realize, how lucky you are to have that impact and have that potential to truly help somebody, that's when this business becomes a blessing to you, because you're blessed to be a blessing. And so that's when the business becomes more fun and exciting. And so, I don't know, I feel like I just word vomited all over you guys. So if you have questions, I'm here to answer questions. If you're struggling with something, we can talk about it. But that's just kind of where my stories led me. We were able, after I went ambassador, we were able to get a 2.0 spot. So we get to do our business again from scratch. So I have Ashley 2.0 that's going double diamond this month. And so we get to do it all again. So it's super fun. And it's just amazing to think that, it took me 3 years to say yes. Oh, well, here's something else crazy. So I signed a distributor this morning that I went back and I looked at our messages, and I started talking to her on May 19th of 2015. So we've talked, it took me 713 days to sign her. So, the bottom line is, don't ever quit following up with people. If somebody would have not followed up with me, my enroller's not in the business anymore, which is crazy to me. But if somebody would have quit following up with me, my life would still be so different, and we would still be stuck struggling. We would still, maybe I would have signed with somebody else. And that's the thing. I may have watched for 3 years, and then she decided to quit following up with me, and somebody else could have asked me one time, and maybe I would have been like, yeah, I'm ready. But that's the thing. You don't ever want to quit following up. Don't ever give up on people. Even if people say no, even if they ignore you, just be really persistent and excited and just keep talking. One of my favorite quotes from Mark Pentecost: the only thing that's different between a distributor and an ambassador or a black diamond is just that we've asked more people. So you've got to be a professional asker. You've got to have a little bit of organization. I was going to show you guys kind of what I do. I started something new this year. I have a problem with, I don't watch TV, so I don't buy off of the home network or whatever, home shopping network, but I have a problem with Facebook ads. And so they get me every time. I've bought the blackhead remover. So one thing I could suggest to you that's been beneficial that I've bought is this High Achievers Playbook. It is like a calendar, but it doesn't have any dates on it. So I know that probably sounds weird, but so each day is just like you write your own date in, and then it holds you accountable for what you're doing. So there are, I don't know if you guys can even really see this, but there's a spot to write lines in, and then this is business to-do list, personal to-do list, and then this is more lines over here. I think you can do, like it's notes and who to follow up with and all of that, but I just use it as literally who I talk to every single day. I write their name down on here. It's got like a little thing that can keep me accountable for drinking water and going to the gym. And I like to check things off because I feel accomplished if I do that. So I literally just, if I, like on January 1st, I didn't talk to anybody. So I shouldn't have even wrote a date on here because I wasted a piece of paper. But I literally go back then. And so whenever I'm trying to follow up, like tomorrow, let's say on 3/9, I'll go back to January 9th, and I will follow back up with all of these people, and then I'll write their name back down on the 9th of March. And that way, so whenever, it's really funny because Brittany is on here, and Brittany, your name is highlighted because I signed her. And she's about to go Ruby. So you guys, it's just crazy. Like you gotta have some sort of system to follow up with people. That's what works for me. One of the things that's been working really well for me, especially with like tax season, people think they're rich when they get their taxes back, so they're ready to spend money. So I was laughing because I saw a meme that said, "Be prepared, the tax ballers are coming." But what I do now, so like if they say, like, because a lot of time your taxes, I think we don't get a tax return, so I don't know about this anymore, but I think it tells you like when your estimated date to get your return is. And so like somebody told me that they were supposed to get their return today. So in the message from your phone, like I'm going to go to Lacey in case I accidentally sent one, but if you hit, I don't know if you guys know this, but if you hit the ... you can set an event reminder. Can you see it? So you can set an event reminder, and so then it pops it up here. So if Lacey told me she was going to get her tax return tomorrow, I can change it to Friday the 3rd at 9 a.m. and then I can save it, and it will send Lacey a event reminder and I can change. So what I always do, just to be kind of like corny, is it says name event reminder, and I change it to change your life. And then it will send both of us a reminder at an hour before the event's scheduled to start. And then, so that way I can be like, oh my gosh, girl, I'm so excited for you. And sometimes they give you an excuse, like I haven't got my return yet or whatever. And I'm like, okay, do you want me to give you, have you heard anything about it? Have you got any updates? Whatever it may be. But it makes following up not awkward, because I already told you the last time I talked to you, like, okay, you gave me a date, so I'm going to follow up with you on that date. And so they know, they expect me to follow up. So that has worked really well for me over the last month. But then also another thing I do, before I started doing that, I don't do it as much now that I'm doing that. But if you have an iPhone, I just tell Siri, I'm like, hey, remind me to follow up with Lacey on Friday about signing up as a distributor. So then Siri will send me a reminder. And so I do that with, like, if I have a customer I need to move, I'm like, remind me by 9 o'clock tonight to move my customer. Otherwise, I'm like a hot mess, y'all, and I will forget things. So that's kind of some of the organization I do. Other than that, I feel like I'm just like, so stop me if you need to.
No, that's great. I didn't even know, but hold on, let me stop you because I'm trying to look on my phone. I don't have any dots. Where's the dots to do that?
You have an iPhone?
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest, I hate it. I want to go back to Galaxy, but.
Okay, so when you don't have like all of these little things at the bottom with.
No, like, this is what I got. Well, can you see that?
No, move it closer.
Should I hit the plus sign?
Maybe, yeah, try hitting your plus sign. You might need to update your messenger.
It just brought up all that.
Is it? Oh, it says event reminder, goofball.
Oh my gosh, okay.
And you might just need to update your phone, but either way, you can do it. And so something else I learned, how I learned about that is because I typed in like, meeting starts at 7 p.m. or something like that, or we're doing a Zoom at 8, and it asked me if I wanted to set a reminder, and I was like, how do I just set a reminder without it? And so, yeah, it's amazing, and it just makes follow-up super, like, not weird, because sometimes follow-up can kind of be weird because you're like, hey, girl, did you get your check yet? Like, do you have any money? Because I need to do this with you. So it's just been really helpful for me in the last month. And I signed, like, I'm normally not a huge customer enroller, but I signed 10 customers last month. And I think it's literally because of that, because it just made it super not awkward.
Right.
So the other thing I do is, I mean, you guys should all be doing this. I have a physical print, Steps to Success, that I keep with me all the time. And so, like, this one says January on it. So this is also how I am horrible. I've always been horrible about keeping good customer service for my customers. Once I move them, I kind of forget about them. And so this helps me so much because I can go back and see, like, okay, so this person signed in January, I need to follow up with them. They're about to run their third order of their auto shipment. So now I should say, like, okay, you're loving the products. Why don't you just do this business and make some money with me? And so, like, I have 9 people from January that their auto shipments are about to be done. So, like, let's flip you over to a distributor. So I do that every month. I don't know. What else you got? You got anything else you want me to talk about, Lacey? Have you guys seen the March game plan in your eSuite? This is in your eSuite. If you go to the documents and just type in March, it pops up like what your goals are, what your why is. It's got your steps to success on here. And then it's really cool with Cami taking over and being this like liaison for the distributors. She is like there's blitzing scripts, there's party scripts, there's follow-up scripts, all as part of that. So they're just making it super easy for us. I feel like you just got to take advantage of the tools that you have and then take action.
Right.
You can sit behind a screen all day long. Posting is not asking. You have to get out and ask people. You have to talk to people. You have to message people. You have to grow your network. And so, I mean, just posting on Facebook, even if you do that consistently, that's so huge to do it consistently. But if that's all you're doing, you're not going to meet your goals.
Right. And I want to ask you too, because I know that, there's people on here that could definitely use it, whatever it is that you do. But so for me, when I do reach out, I guess, like whenever somebody likes something on Facebook, like if I post, look at this chick's results, aren't they absolutely amazing? What is your reach out? Do you kind of just like go through or, cause like if I see somebody make a post that says, man, I feel like crap today, I think I've got the flu, I'll message them instantly. I'll be like, well, you wouldn't be if you had the greens. Right. And like sometimes I'll do it in voice so that they can hear like, the right tone. So what is your technique?
Yeah, so I use the voice memo a lot because I feel like, one, it's just more personal and people see that you're not a robot, just like, I know it can be scary and, whatever, but I mean, it's really a lot easier for me to do that because I'm always on the go anyways. So the voice memo, I reach out to people, but I was just telling somebody this today that somebody had said, well, somebody liked my post. How do I engage with them? And I just like totally keep it nonchalant and just message them and say like, hey girl, I just wanted to tell you, thank you so much for liking my post. Your support means so much to me. And then if the post is about greens, then I say, have you ever tried the greens before? Or if it's about making money, have you ever thought about making money? But I always thank them for their support because it truly does mean a lot when somebody's giving you love. It's like a high five, so I think that it's really important to tell people how much we appreciate that.
And sometimes too, like I think this is, I've had a few people message me and be like, you just sound so funny whenever you bring up the conversation, but I make people feel like they're crazy if they're not a part of this. Like, I'll be like, I see you creeping on my page. Quit acting like you don't want to be a distributor too. And I've gotten people to sign that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I kind of think if I would have been called, I mean, I guess I couldn't have really been called out because I didn't like or comment on anything, but I kind of feel like if somebody would have taken the pressure off of me, then I might have just done it sooner. But instead it was like I had said no for so long, or I had ignored for so long, that I felt like, well, gosh, even if I want to do it now, I can't. Like, right. I'm too far in of being out. Like,
yeah. But, and what you said too about, letting people fuel your fire, that is exactly, whenever I tell people this, it blows their mind. But out of my first 60 loyal customers, 47 were people I didn't even know.
Right.
I didn't even know. And so they're like, did you really wear out your warm market? No, because nobody believed in it. Everybody in the only person who signed up in my family was my mom. And I think she kept everything under her freaking counter. She was just like, yeah, I'm not even going to use it.
I mean, I have to support you. Yeah. Well, and I just think that it's so important not to worry about, one thing that I we'll probably get kicked off here shortly, but one thing that I think is really important too, that I didn't share with you guys as part of my story, I'm from a town that, y'all, we don't even have a population sign. It's that small. We have nothing, and there's 17 distributors. I'm an ambassador. I have a triple diamond in this town. I have a double, 2, 3 diamonds. And then my friend Chelsea, who's a triple, she has 15 people from her family. They have this compound of houses, and we're all the same town, and the market is not saturated. Social media, you can reach anywhere. And so I think it's so important for people to realize you're only putting yourself in a box if you're not getting outside of that. And if you're telling yourself, whatever you feed yourself, that's what you're going to believe, and that's where you're going to be stuck. So it's really important to make sure that you're not feeding yourself with all this, well, I'm not good enough, or I'm too shy, or I don't know enough people, or nobody's going to support me, or, my town's too small. Everybody already does it. Whatever you're feeding yourself, that's what you're going to believe, and you're only screwing yourself.
Yep. And every time we hear, I think pretty much everybody on here knows how I feel about that whole saturation comment. I always say there is a Walmart and a Dollar General on every flipping corner, and if they can get business, so can you.
Yep, that's so
you have
true.
You have to make yourself the Walmart that people want to shop at.
Yep. Well, and that's the thing too. There could be 50 It Works distributors in your town, but what sets you apart? I mean, there are people that I know didn't buy from me, but turned around and bought from somebody in my downline because they felt more comfortable with them, or they, maybe they didn't like me in high school, whatever. There's always going to be somebody that is going to be attracted to you versus somebody else. But that's also where it's really important to get out and talk to people. I have a girl that reached out to me that wants to sign as a distributor tonight, and she asked if I knew this other distributor that's in her hometown. She's like, do you know her? Because she's been doing it for a while. Yeah, it's my stepsister. But she's like, they live in the same town, and my stepsister's never asked her. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So it's just, and she's reaching out to me just because my profile's public. So you got to get out there and ask people. If you don't ask them, somebody else will. And who cares if they say no?
Yep. No means not right now.
Right.
Absolutely. Yep. What did she say? Ashley and Lacey, is it possibly Robin, with you, everything is possible, my dear. We love you to death. You got to be the most funnest person in the whole entire world. You are just shot out. I love it. Shot out. I love it. All right. So we do have a minute exactly. So I don't know. How about we do one word of wisdom here. So Ashley, what would you tell this team? I mean, right now we've got all these freaking bonuses. What do they need to do?
You just need to take action. I mean, you can watch YouTube videos all day. You can get on Zooms all day, but unless you're willing to put what you're, I see all you guys writing notes and, you're trying to soak all this in, but unless you take it out and put it to action and just start talking to people and get to work, it's not going to do anything for you. So get on the calls, fill your cup up, listen to things, but then you got to start talking to people. You got to get out. You got to wear your clothes. I mean, you will never, ever see me without a Knit Work shirt on, even if it's the same sweatshirt I've had on for like 3 days. I always have my clothes on, and my family just walks and breathes It Works, because it's a lifestyle that we choose to live, and it's something that attracts people to it because everybody just knows we're the It Works people. Yes. So brand yourself and just decide that you're going to claim these bonuses. I challenge you. I challenged my team